Even though we're aware, our guests were never really aware or cared to think about, hey, they might have some sick people back there working and pulling food and making food and serving food and whatnot. When do we start thinking about the managers? When do we start thinking about the staff? When do we start thinking about our employees and their safety and their health? You don't really get to call out. You don't get to call in and say, "Hey, boss, I'm not coming in." You find somebody else to close the restaurant tonight, or you find somebody to open the restaurant. I'm just not going to show up because I had the fever. You have to show up to your shift. I think a lot of you had a great point in that it probably won't do much as far as the restaurant's concerned. Like, we already know this is going on and we're okay with it. I don't think COVID-19 is going to change a thing. I think, once all this dies down, we're going to go right back to, hey, come on into your shift. I don't care if you're sick, you're going to work it, or you're going to get your shift covered, or try to get your shift covered, but we really need you to come in, yada, yada, yada. We've all given the same spiel. Even though we're aware, our guests were never really aware or cared to think about, hey, they might have some sick people back there working and pulling food and making food and serving food and whatnot. So I think now the tides have turned, not because of us, but because the guests are a lot more aware now of a sickness within a restaurant. They want to know, hey, has that server had flu-like symptoms, because I really don't want to catch that. Whereas before, I feel like you might have been aware, but it didn't really matter. But now it matters to you. Now there's a risk involved with it that, even though it was already there, you turned a blind eye to. It's a lot, to know that you don't get to call out and you have to come to work sick because no one else is going to be able to do it. Maybe this calls for changes in the way we operate as far as restaurants are concerned. Do you start maybe giving out a certain amount of sick days, or, pulling back on the sickness department? I understand you have to be staffed. I understand you have to have people in the building to be able to wait tables, cook the food, manage the restaurant, serve the drinks, prep the food. But when do we start thinking about the managers? When do we start thinking about the staff? When do we start thinking about our employees and their safety and their health?